Hey guys, what's up? Ryan Dossey here. Welcome to episode 3 of Cash Flow in Cars. We're going to dive into KWSs, what they are, what they mean to you, as well as return to senders and how we process every single one that comes into our office. Now, KWSs, as we call them around the office, or know we shoulds, are all of these tasks that ultimately we know we should be doing. They're things that are revenue generating. If you've read Stephen Covey's book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, they're quadrant 2 activities. If you haven't read that book, literally go buy it now. It's probably my favorite book I've ever read. It's literally like the grandfather of pretty much anything you're reading now that's teaching you about any type of success or business principles. So quadrant 2 activities are stuff that's important, but it's not urgent. There's not a time crunch, there's not a deadline, there's no external pressures to get it done, but nevertheless, it's the things that really move our businesses forward. As entrepreneurs, real estate investors, small business owners, these are the things that unfortunately, when deadlines come up, when fires come up, tend to get pushed to the side. So return to senders is actually the one we're going to dive into, just because it's one of those, everybody pretends like they're processing them, like they're doing what they should be with them. But of all the successful investors I've interviewed, most of them, that are willing to open up to me and be honest, will tell you that they're not doing anything with them at all. So return to senders, as you know, if you're using ListSource or any sort of batch data like that, you're going to get about 3 to 5% of your records that come back to you as return to sender. So as you can imagine, here with our office, we send 10 to 15,000 pieces of mail a month. We get quite a bit of mail that comes back to us. Now, like a lot of our viewers, you probably do what we used to do. We take them, set them aside, set them in a stack, and every single week that stack would get larger, dirtier, dustier, till finally we just pitch it and say, hey, we'll start over, we'll do better next time, right? So I want to outline exactly how we handle return to senders now. So as they come in on a daily basis, the guys in our office actually have the Dropbox app on their phone. We have a shared folder called return to senders that all they do is take a picture of the front of the piece. Literally takes them a minute, if even that. From there, that shared folder, we then have an overseas team member named Anne in the Philippines who goes through, actually reads the front of the mail pieces and removes them from our lists. So a couple things this does. One, we're not spending money to remail people who didn't get our mail pieces in the first place. But 2, she removes them from our list and actually adds them to a separate list where they're formatted specifically so that we can skip trace them. So there we're going to send them off to the provider we use to do batch skip tracing. Now I have access to TLO and a few other providers where I could do this myself. However, the big thing with these quadrant 2 activities is the more you can automate, delegate, and outsource them, the better. So what we actually do, we send them off to a third party who skip traces them and sends them back to us. I'll actually drop the company we're using in the comments on this video, just because I've honestly been so impressed with our results. And then from there, we get back a list of people who we now have phone numbers for that we can then cold call or text message blast. The really neat thing with cold calling return to senders is you have an excuse to call. Hey, I sent you a letter and it actually came back to me. I really wanted to make sure you got it. I wanted to make sure you heard from me. I mailed it to this address and it came back. Your property at 123 Main Street. Are you interested in selling it? I own property near it, and I'm curious if you'd consider an as-is cash offer. That cold call starts off like $1 million, as opposed to not really having like a justification for calling in the first place. So what that's done, it makes it where that's done every single day of the week, Monday through Friday, that the staff are in. They're automatically removed from our mailing list, so we're not wasting, remailing those same people who weren't going to get it in the first place. And that's just one example of one of these KWSs. So what I'd really like for you guys to do, because automating, delegating, and outsourcing is one of my favorite things to do. Drop in the comments, what ones you guys know you should be doing but you aren't.